You know, I think part of getting old is that you can't see where the shoot.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yeah, now we're recording. Very good. All right. Now, what is your name, sir?
I'm Chuck Kenning.
Uh-huh. And where are you from?
I reside here in Olathe.
Oh, you're an Olathian.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know we had experienced craftsmen here like this. That's wonderful. All right. And you're out here just doing a show on Saturday, or do you do a lot of these shows? Or
I try to do a few shows.
Okay.
All the time.
And your particular skills and crafts here are involving, I see, lots of pistols and rifles. And so what is your presentation here?
Well, I'm a gunsmith by training and by choice, and while I work on all manner of firearms, the 19th century are my favorite.
Oh, very good.
What I do, I restore antiques, I repair reproductions, and I correct reproductions. For example, in this one, I've taken a reproduction barrel. I'm removing the made in Italy and black powder only lettering on it.
Oh, really?
And when I'm done with that, I will refinish the barrel so that it will more resemble what it would have looked like had it come out of Mr. Colt's factory.
Oh.
This one, for example, I've redone both the barrel and I've recolored, case hardened the frame and hammer using Colt's technique. And so there is a bit of a difference if you say compared that with one out of the box.
So that's a real Colt or not? This particular one.
They're real Colts in their design and construction.
Okay.
This one happens to be manufactured by Uberti of Italy.
Oh.
Not Uberti Pieta.
Terrific.
But I'll correct them to make them.
I see you have is that a double barrel shotgun?
Double barrel shotgun. That's called a coach gun.
A coach gun. Oh, is that the kind the good guys always carried on that?
That's what you carry.
Is that right? And what caliber is that?
It's a 12 gauge.
12 gauge.
Double.
Short barrel. Well, I bet that had a kick to it. Ooh, bet it still does, huh?
It does.
Yeah. All right.
But that is one, the fellow had it, and he lost his barrel wedge, and the barrel went down on the concrete and came up scratched and dented. So
what is a barrel wedge? I guess I don't know what that is.
This is what holds the barrels onto the stock.
Oh, okay.
It's like a little key.
A little pin. Yeah, let's see that.
And that's typical on many of your older firearms. The assembly is held together with a wedge. Here on the Colt's firearm, the barrel goes onto the frame like so, and it's held in place with a wedge. This one needs to be refitted.
See, I didn't know that. That's new information.
That's how that goes on there, and you can see how it. The little screw limits the extent to which the wedge can be driven in. Fit it so that you can push it in most of the way with your thumb, and then set it with a light tap. And then once you've fitted it, you just don't drive it any further until it wears.
Get out of town. I'll be darned. And I notice you're laying it all on a nice Indian blanket there. Where'd that blanket come from?
That's something my wife collected. She's very much into the...
Looks like Santa Fe, New Mexico to me.
It probably is.
Yeah. And that's the second time I've seen this big, long vise. I saw one over there at the blacksmith. Where in the world do these vices come from? I've never seen anything that had a...
This is the standard 18th through early 20th century. It's called a post vise.
Post vise.
And because it is built so that the thrust of any work on it is directed into the floor. And this is the classic gunsmith vise, even to the lead jaws.
I'll be darned.
To protect the firearm finish.
I see, that's something else I didn't know. This is good information. All right. And I see you got a standard file, and is that a horse brush, or what is that?
That's called a file card.
A file card?
I build up the chips on the file, and I can clean my file, keep my cutting edges clean. When I'm working on this, I'm performing a process called draw filing. I'm drawing the file across the work.
Right.
And I take a fine chip. I do this by hand because it allows me to not only produce a traditional finish, but also to remove the minimal amount to get that lettering.
Very good. Very good. And then you clean the brush, or the brush cleans the file, and that way you don't end up with deep scratches, I assume, or...
Right. The build-up, that's called pinning. When you get a build-up of chips, and of course they'll gouge the finish. Well, that's not desirable, and it dulls the file. So you can get a lot of shaping out of a file if it's kept clean.
Okay. Now, what's the cup? Oh, that's oil. Oh, I see now. Okay, I see that. Now I'll get out of the way so I can get a little light in there. And then you have this. I suppose that's a...
That's the GunSmith bench block. That allows him to drive pins or to prop it up so he can do things like knock the wedge out.
Okay.
Have you ever loaded a cap and ball?
No, I have not. Have never done it. I'm a new guy to this. And by the way, this will be in a place where a lot of people can see it, so you might give us a short demonstration if you want.
Okay, the model of 1851 Colt.
All right.
To load it.
All right.
Pull the hammer back to the loading position or half cock.
All right.
That allows the cylinder to turn freely. If you had a little stand, it was handy to use. And then you could unlimber the loading lever like so. It's built into the gun. You pour your powder from a flask with a measuring spout. You bring it around and pour powder into each cylinder.
Oh, you have to pour it literally from a pouch or something into the cylinder.
Yeah.
Isn't that dangerous? Gee, what happened?
If you were smoking, it was.
Boom.
So you tamp the powder down like so. When you were ready to load, get a bullet.
And we have lead.
Get a little red lead bullet. Now the lead bullet is just slightly larger than the chamber diameter. So when I put it on the chamber there and bring it under my... I didn't load that one before, did I? Let's make sure I didn't load that one before. Let's load this one. Bring it under the loading lever. And now I can push that into the cylinder. Notice how it cut a little ring of lead?
I see that.
Now it's seated in the bore. Well, you do that all 6 chambers. And then you take a little bit of grease and coat each end so that when the flash comes out of the breech gap there, it didn't set off all the cylinders. Last thing to do, put a cap on each cylinder.
And the loading caps are...
They're like I try to keep them out of here.
Yeah, I understand why.
The cap will propel a bullet.
Yep.
And that would totally seal the bore. It was ready to fire. Because it was a Colt, you could let the hammer down between cylinders. So even if you hit the hammer or dropped it, when you're ready to fire, because it's single action, it's ready to go.
Great.
If you didn't want to do it that way, you'd leave one cylinder blank and let the hammer down on the blank cylinder.
Wow. Well, we're just about out of time here. It's 7 minutes. I've only got 8 minutes and 20 seconds, so...
and that is how one loaded the...
And the caliber gun was a...
This is a 36.
36 caliber.
By the time of the Civil War, the Army said they wanted something with a little more power, so the same construction was offered in a 44 New Army.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much for the demonstration. And I guess you